Walking home late at night, maybe 2:30. A little drunk, but I'm alright, 'cause I've been hanging with you, and it feels like love. Tell me if I'm wrong, 'cause it feels like love. Yeah, it feels like love.
Hello? Hey, quick question. Do you want to go for a quick ride?
I do. At the same time, I don't. Only because the whole short runway thing. I'm 200 pounds.
I've had one a lot heavier than you and 6'3" in here before on it.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time. You should let me know if you want this too. You just make me feel crazy. A little crazy for you.
Welcome to the Experimental Aircraft Channel. I'm Brian, and today I'm in Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm about to show you the nicest Zenith CH701 ever built, right here in the shop, coming up right now. Thank you to our channel sponsors, Wicks Aircraft Supply, AviNation Youth Publication, and Aero Adventure Amphibious Seaplanes. So today I have a real treat for you, and that is we are standing in front of what I believe to be the nicest Zenith CH701 ever built. All right, for starters, John, if you could start off telling us what other aircraft maybe did you consider before getting this, and what was your mission, and what made you choose the Zenith CH701 as the plane for you to build?
Flew ultralights for years before this one. Looked at quite a few different ones, researched for several years online before I actually picked the Zenith. I went and looked at a few. Never made it to the Zenith factory and still haven't been there yet, but that's in the plans. Really? Fella had one in their local airport, and I went and sat in his and kind of fell in love with the 701, and it went from there. It seemed to fit my mission, which is most of the time I'm flying around our East Tennessee mountains. I like to explore the mountains, the rivers, just the scenery we have here in East Tennessee, and I'm by myself a lot of the time, but I wanted to have capability of 2 seats and have a little luggage space for my wife and I, or whoever wanted to ride for that matter.
Sure.
Share the passion of flying and just the scenery of East Tennessee. 701 just seemed to fit the ticket for me. Made a lot of, not necessarily modifications to the general frame of the aircraft, but to personalize it, I made a lot of customizations to it. Everything from the instrument panel to, I put in a slotless system for the ailerons. Did some work on the tail to close in some gap spaces and extended the elevator control just slightly. The cowl is completely custom. Baggage door, actually the baggage door and a lot of the inspection panels came from a place called My Kit Airplane. You can look them up online. They have all kinds of inspection panels, but the door also came from them. It's really handy for the 701s since they've extended the baggage area. Just gives you the capability of being able to reach in and grab it from the outside, lockable.
As far as the kit build process itself, how did you step through it? Did you go with the tail kit first, or how did you progress through the build?
Actually, I actually bought the entire kit all in one major package. Built the tail first and essentially started with the rudder that first couple of months. After that, it sat completely on the back burner, and then when I picked back up, I finished building the tail. And luckily, I built this shop in 2004. I have enough room here to be able to kind of stretch out. So I started several major assemblies at once with this, which may not be the best route, but I had both wings going at the same time, and the fuselage was in process. So it was quite a project with stuff scattered everywhere there for a while.
I want to ask you about your flight experience and kind of transitioning. Your past life as a pilot has been solely in ultralights, and you jumped straight from that into this. What kind of training or transition training did you do? And then after you had this built, what did you do leading up to your first flight to get yourself familiarized and safe to be able to go flying? And like, what kind of mental, emotional mindset do you have to get into on your first flight to be able to do this, especially from the airfield, which is 300 feet that you took off from your first flight?
Right. To go back from the start, my passion has been ever since just a child. I had the flight simulators when I was just a kid. I essentially graduated from flight simulators into remote control helicopters and flew those even with cameras on them for a while I was in college. From there, I went to the ultralight. I had a Laser, which is a twin engine, had little 9 horsepower Rotax engines on it. My wife laughs about that. We brought that thing home from North Carolina and didn't have any training outside of my remote control, and got it in our 100-acre wheat field and just putted around for a while. And once I got the feel of the controls and stuff, I just gave it throttle and took off. And my wife laughs about it because I took off quickly, but then flew around for a long time trying to figure out how to put it back on the ground safely. And it's one of those deals that you're running out of fuel, you think, man, it's got to go down. so luckily it worked out really well. Flew that ultralight for several hundred hours. In the meantime, got my pilot's license and wanted to be able to take people with me just to share the enjoyment of it. So that's where the Zenith came in. And once I got it built, I have the 300-foot grass strip, and we do have the 100-acre field that I could practice in once I get to it. But we have this 300-foot strip and a few houses in between, and across a couple of roads. So I wanted to take off here, and my ultimate goal was just take off straight half a mile over to the big crop field and be able to take off and land over there and get a feel for it and see what was really going on. So you literally just had to. You have a 300-foot runway, but you just have to clear the fence, and then you'd have someplace else to land, essentially. Right. Which you could practically do in ground effect. Basically, yes. Yeah. Once I got off the ground, I have to clear one fence, and then I'll be inside pasture for a while, and then I have to clear a couple of roads. But just a very short ways. That initial just throttle, it makes you pucker. However you want to say that.
That's perfect. So again, leading up to your first flight, what did you do? You mentioned earlier some transition training, and how did that go?
I did get transition training with the Buzz Air over in Middle Tennessee. Would highly recommend transition training, whether it's with them or whoever. We spent 4 to 5 hours in a 701 and a 750, going back and forth between the two. Would highly recommend it. The Zeniths are beautiful flyers. They land a little differently than your common or average Cessna or something like that. And the landing's where you really need to practice. Anybody can take it off, but you need a little bit of transition training just to get a feel for what it's going to do when you get close to the ground. Well, of course, I did the ground runs. I taxied up and down the runway and that type of stuff, back and forth just on the ground. None of that was fast enough to get a feel for any type of control or anything, but just some basic engine run-ups to be sure it was going to run full throttle and not have any hiccups or anything like that to get me over to the main crop field. Other than that, I probably lost a couple of nights of sleep just thinking about it, and then I crashed for a good long night, and after that, you just have to get in and do it.
Because I've yet to experience this myself and hope to within the next year. But what does that first few seconds feel like when you put that throttle all the way in and you're committed to taking off? What's going through your mind, and how does that feel?
It feels amazing. And with 130 horsepower, you're really thinking, man, I'm sitting back in the seat. We're going. Whether you want to go or not, if you have it wide open, you're going. So once you actually push the throttle forward and take off, I guess training comes into play. Your previous, what you're used to, and the feel for the controls are kind of like riding a bicycle. Once you get going, you don't think about as much what could happen, what's going to go wrong, and all that type of stuff. Your mind's, you're focused. You're just thinking. Especially with a 701 or probably a Zenith of any type, and I'd say most of them are this way, but this one, just the controls were perfect. I didn't have to make any adjustments to get it to fly true. I have the trim tab on the elevator, but other than that, it just flies perfect. So it's essentially a 2-finger flight from here to the wheat field.
Well, I think we'd have to give credit to the builder for that, because not every flight happens that way.
Like, I spent a lot of time making sure things were straight, lined up level. Of course, you measure and measure again, and then you measure 3 or 4 more times to make sure you measure right the last time. That happened a lot with this build. You want to make sure things are true.
How about the landing, setting up for the landing? Did you do just a flyby first, or did you stay up before, like on your ultralight and about ready to run out of fuel and like, I have to land this thing, or what was the landing like?
I had plenty of fuel, but yeah, my intention was to go over to the field and land the first pass. Of course, that didn't happen. I came close to the ground and scoped it all out and made several passes before I actually touched down. Touched down and looked things over, got out, checked it out, got a 2 or 3 breaths of air to make sure I could still breathe normally, because even though you're focused and it doesn't seem like that much when you first take off,
The adrenaline.
the adrenaline's insane. When you actually land and you get back on the ground, you have to kind of walk it off for a few minutes. But once you get past that, the second and third flight from the field were perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
they were just...
And I understand after you got some hours flown off of it, your first passenger was your daughter, Jocelyn, correct?
Yes, yes.
Can you tell me just a little bit about that and how she was involved, maybe a little bit in this project, and I mean, I've seen the video, and I'm surprised it didn't go viral because it was amazingly cute, and her response to flying and so forth was really cute.
Well, I'm lucky to have an awesome daughter. Of course, she's 4 years old now. When I first started the kit, she was all over it. She loved to be with me, but she wanted to be a part of it. She's a mechanic at heart. That's just what she's seen me do her whole life, and I've seen her up on underneath trucks on creepers and that type of stuff just as soon as she was able to walk. So she's always been a part of the airplane. Once I got the time flown off, the 40 hours flown off, I came back to the crop field with it, and my mom, my wife, and Jocelyn my daughter, were all there. We got her strapped in with a little booster seat and took off, and we'll shoot you the link for the video, but she had a blast. She absolutely loved it. Are you ready to fly?
Yes. Yes, Daddy. Bye, Daddy.
What do you think, Jocelyn?
Fine.
Wave to him. Alright, Mama, we're going to be off the phone, okay?
Alright, y'all have fun.
Alright, talk to you in a little while.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mama.
She's off the phone now.
Oh, good. A little bit higher.
Yep, we're going to go a little bit higher now.
I want to go a little bit higher. Higher.
Yep, we're going to go higher.
I want to go all the way up into the sky.
All the way up into the sky.
Yes.
Do you like this?
Yeah. I am fine, Daddy. I am fine.
You're fine?
Yes. Why doesn't it have no steering wheel?
You don't have a steering wheel?
Yeah.
You can put your hand right there if you want to, just don't touch any of the buttons.
Okay.
See, that's how I make it turn. See, I can turn it that way, and I can turn it back this way.
And why can't you turn
If I push it
down?
forward, it goes down, and if I pull it back, it goes up.
I'm gonna go back.
Well,
Yeah.
you want to go back? You want to go up more?
Uh-huh.
Fly around a little bit more?
Yes.
We're going to turn. We're going to turn sharp.
Whoa.
You like that?
Yes. I'm gonna do that again. I want to go really sideways.
Really? Sideways?
Yes. Whoa. Whoa.
You like that?
Yes, I did. I'm so excited to fly with you.
Is that cool? Mama's gonna fly with me next.
Oh, I want to fly with you again.
Yes, you will. We're gonna fly a lot. Give me 2 thumbs ups. Do that? Good job.
Okay, everyone, that's it for this episode, and also completes our 2-part series on Jon Humberd's Super 701, which is a Zenith CH701 powered by a UL Power 130 horsepower engine. Just a quick thank you again to Jon and his family allowing us to come out to his farm and video all this to be able to share with the world of what he did and his great creation there. Just a quick mention also, Wicks Aircraft supplies parts, engine parts for the UL Power engines. If you want to check them out at wicksaircraft.com. Also, they have sent me another unique product. This one is called an OXI-GO. It is a finger oximeter which measures your pulse and also your oxygen levels. Might be something for one of those pucker moments that Jon mentioned earlier in the video, or simply if you want to keep it in your cockpit to check out your pulse and your oxygen levels at altitude. Just want to give you another quick reminder that we have started a sister channel called Chasing Aviation. If you'd like to join us over there, we're on Facebook currently, and of course YouTube channel is Chasing Aviation. We will be capturing our RV experience adventures, traveling to and from, interviewing builders such as yourselves and also manufacturers. So check us out at Chasing Aviation. If this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe right now. Hit that like button on this video. I'd appreciate that. And a little bell notification if you want to have notifications of future videos from us. And remember guys, just build it. We'll see you in the next video.
Don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time. You should let me know if you want this true. You just make me feel crazy. A little crazy for you. Yeah. I think about you and I want you here with me. Am I out of my mind? Or is this how it should be? You made me sing about love. So just tell me if I'm wrong. But it feels like love. Yeah, it feels like love. Yeah!